Alright, where do we leave off? So, this is a sealer. We can't leave it how it is. I did 2 coats already. And I let it dry overnight. And I think 2 coats was thick enough. I'm gonna give me some triple out steel wool and just run along the surface in one direction. It's gonna take off the sheen, but then after that's done, we'll get a magnet, get all the little fibers of steel wool, and then get some of this stuff again. Well, we haven't used it yet, but this is the final stage. And then do 1 coat, 1 very thin coat overnight, and then another coat the next day. But it's turning out to be pretty smooth, pretty shiny. Just with this, but it's not good enough for me. I hate this stuff. This shellac or whatever. It feels like it bubbled up. But once I use the steel wool, it's very smooth. I did a little bit right here, and yeah, it looks like I am gonna use the steel wool. So, like again, one direction only. I am going a little bit harder, putting a little bit of pressure, and yeah, it looks, or it feels better. Actually looks a lot better too. But just put a little bit pressure and in one direction. And after all this is done, you get a magnet and pick up all these little fibers. I don't know if you can see that, but it's all that extra crumminess and the little bubbles, the impurity, the imperfections, not impurities, the imperfections of the finish. Wow, that's pretty smooth. But yeah, the imperfections of the finish and looking pretty good. So we already had our filler in there. We didn't actually use filler. I don't think I was very clear on that, but we need to use filler, sealer, and finish. Like I said before, this can do all 3 if you're, if you want to use it, but I don't want to use it all up. I want to just use it for the finish. That's looking really good. But now our filler is what we need to do first, and it's already been done, just off camera, because I didn't need to do a filler. Before this was already had a finish, already had a sealer too. This stuff that I used for this right now, I just used it for just to make it look shiny. But then since I started this project in part 1, I sanded it just enough to leave the old finish inside the pores of the wood, and that would be considered our filler. It's not necessarily filler, but it'll work as a filler. It'll work just fine. And then this is our sealer. And all I'm doing is it's almost polishing it, but it takes away the sheen. It just makes it really smooth, really smooth. After that's done, That's when we get the true oil for our final finish. You know what? You don't have to do this, but I think I'm gonna go back this way now, just to get rid of some little bumps right here that are too stubborn. But still in one with the grain, not in one direction, but with the grain still. I think that'll look better. Oh yeah, it's almost polishing it. I can see it give it a almost a satin, or not a satin, a matte sheen. Oh yeah, that looks a lot better. Feels a lot better. It got rid of this little bump there. Yeah, I'm gonna do that instead. This only works with mine right now because it was a very thick coat. If it's thin, it's not a good idea to do this because you're just scraping off that sealer. You'll just have to start all over again. It's okay with me because I put a very thick coat. Even though it's only 2 coats, this stuff's pretty thick when it dries. I'll keep at it, but I'll be back and show you the finished steel wool part. It didn't take me very long to do the whole thing. Now I just need to do this little part right here. It's a little tricky, but it's gonna take some time. You don't want to, how do I say it? You don't want to keep going. Like, since it didn't take me so long, the reason it didn't take me so long is because, I'm not sanding it. It's more like I'm buffing it or polishing it. You could feel a difference. Like before using the steel wool, it was a little bit tacky, not sticky, but like it's a new finish and it was a little bit tacky. This with the steel wool, it feels very different now. I don't think that did it. Yeah, that did do it. It feels very different now. It feels very smooth. And that's what you want. You want something that's very smooth, not tacky, all uniform, all flush, no bumps. There's a couple dents because I decided not to fill those to give it character, but no bumps or dents, all uniform. And this really did get rid of the splotchiness very well. I was impressed with that. I never used this type of method with this finish because I didn't like it, but I think I might use it again. It looks really good. Before I used to wet sand, and that was to me, I think that's unnecessary now. Oh yeah, that looks a lot better. I just need a little bit right here. With the grain. That feels good. That feels really smooth. I'm trying to feel right now if I missed any spots. Maybe I missed a little bit right here. Just a little bit. Oh yeah, that's a lot better now. Okay. Now I get a rag and a magnet to pick up all these filings. These fibers from the steel wool, and then wipe it down with a dry rag. I'll be right back. Okay, so now that I look at it really closely, it's pretty shiny. Oh, you can barely see the sheen on camera. See this little line? It goes right there and then comes back. But in person, it looks pretty shiny. But I want to make it shinier. It's gonna look really good with this stuff right here. So yeah, got my glove. I'm only gonna need a little bit. You know what? I forgot. You don't want to leave this open. It's best to get a water bottle, drink it, and then use the cap and pour a little bit in that cap. That's all you're really gonna need. So let me go get that. I'll be right back. So I got the little cap, and once I open it, I gotta close it back up and put it upside down, because like I said, the little trapped air, or where the empty space, the air that meets the oil, it'll create a film, because it'll dry and create a film, and then I'm gonna have to break it up and it'll be like a flaky oil, and it's not good enough. It's not good at all. So just a little bit. Jesus. See that stuff? Just a little bit. That's too much. But that'll be fine. Okay. Now, just make sure there's no dust. Okay. Make sure you have your thing to hang with. Don't leave it outside to hang, because all the dust, all the dirt that get picked up by the wind, it'll stick on this. It's like a magnet for some reason. So once you're doing it, I'd rather do this inside, but I wanted to do it outside just because reasons. But since if you're doing it outside like me, go ahead and take it inside and leave it in a room with an open window. You should be good. So people like to get this and run it or work it in their fingers like this. I don't do that. It's unnecessary for me. I just get a little drop and work with it. I apply it and I stop, in one direction. This is definitely one direction. You cannot go back with this at all. But I keep going in one direction until I feel a pull. And when I feel that pull, that's when I get a drop. The thinner the coat, the better the finish. Don't use a lot. I'm exaggerating on how much of a little drop I'm using. I'm using like not even half a drop. It's a little bit, of an exaggeration, but that's literally all you need. I'm going over where I went. That's just because there's a little bit more. That's okay. Just as long as it's wet. Once it starts getting sticky, that's not good. So trying to get most of out of it, so okay. Yeah, that wasn't enough. That'll work right there. This already looks very shiny, and it's gonna look really good. And I usually put, for something like this, I'll put maybe 3 coats, or how many coats you want, depending on what you want. But for me right now, I think I'm just gonna do 3 coats, maybe 2 coats. So, oh, too much. This is already gonna what's the word? This is already going to discourage some people. They're gonna lose their patience. They're gonna say some. They're gonna say, you know what? Screw this. This isn't for me. Just because they don't have the patience. This is not something you do overnight or some simple. I mean, I did it pretty quick. Just because it's a little fun little project, and it's not gonna be, you know, graded. This is my stuff. It's not gonna be inspected by an expert. It's just my stuff, and this is pretty good. This is pretty damn good. But like for some like, hold on, for some like it needs to be graded or it needs to be shown off. Yeah, it's probably gonna take a lot longer. That's just the name of the game. You just have to be patient. And if you mess up, you literally can start all over. Or you can just leave the splotchiness if you want. That's if you just give up at that point. But if you don't want to give up, you're just going to have to start all over. You can't just fix that one spot. Because then, let's say if you want to sand that one little spot with the finest grit, it's still going to be noticeable. It's still going to be very noticeable. So just do it the right way. Take your time. It's looking really good right now. This bottle's getting annoying. Ooh, missed a little. Well, I don't need that much. Yeah. Okay, I'm trying to look. See if I missed anywhere else. Looks like I got it all. Well, let me get a little bit right here. Okay, that's pretty good. To be honest, I might just need only 1 coat after all. Yeah, I think I'll just do 1 coat because now that I realize it's going to be extremely shiny in the other pieces of the rifle. It's not shiny at all. Or it is, but not this shiny. This is already too shiny. That's okay. I'll just do the same thing with the other pieces of wood to make it all a shiny piece. It looks really good. I'm gonna go hang this inside because it's starting to pick up the wind, or the wind's starting to pick up, and I'll be right back. Yeah, I can't really do anything else from here. Just wait till that dries, and then tomorrow I'm gonna let it dry overnight just to be on the safe side. Tomorrow I'll see how it looks, and then I'll show you the final product. I think it's gonna look good. It looks really good already. Well, hope you guys found some of this helpful, and see you on the next one.